Hi there guys and welcome. It's finally time for me to make a review of the Bushbox LF large foldable. We've been hanging out for the better part of a year now, and it's been my go-to kit when solo hiking during this year, so now I feel ready to give my 2 cents about it. Thankfully we haven't reached the point where Sweden is in lockdown due to COVID-19 yet. So far we have the recommendations to keep a safe distance, avoid larger social functions and crowds, and I can't think of a better place to do that than outdoors in the springtime. As a disclaimer, I would like to say that this is my opinion based on my experiences and my preferences on outdoor gears, not a universal truth. If you have another opinion in the matter and are capable of expressing it in a civil manner, please share it in the comments below. About a year ago I bought the Bushbox because I felt I needed a versatile compact cooking system for solo hikes, and I needed a system that can handle several kinds of fuel and that would combine with the gear I already had. So I checked out a number of Hobo stoves and decided that the Bushbox was the one that met my demands, my budget, and maybe most important of all, I had a good feeling about it. So, is the feeling still there? Well, my first test was a bit disappointed. It didn't quite behave like I expected, as you can see in the video I did about it. There should be a link in the corner up there. Since that video has been the most watched on my channel, I felt it was time to do a review for a more balanced perspective. Because when I did my research before I bought it, many referred to it as a twig stove, and that was the way I used it. As it turns out, it wasn't the best way, which I found out to my dismay. Using twigs for fuel means that you will spend a lot of your time feeding them in your Bushbox. Thankfully I got some good advice in the comments, so I gave the Bushbox another go the way it was suggested, and from then on we are on good terms. I'd like to do a big shout out to Jim Bohannon for your good advice. Thank you, man. You're the best. My preferred way nowadays is to use an upside down firing because it gives a longer burning time. Depending on the firewood, you can expect somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes from a full load before you need to refill it. Most times it's enough for me to cook food and coffee, and if you're just having a quick pit stop for lunch, the fire should have burned out completely by the time you finish your meal, and the stove should have cooled down enough to pack it up and you can be on your way again. If firewood isn't an option, I use my Stranger spirit burner to get the job done. Depending on what you're making, you can mount it in different ways. There is a grate that works as a shelf to put it on when boiling to get the burner closer to your pot or your kettle, and when I'm frying I usually use 2 ordinary tent pegs to get the burner a little lower, so I get more evenly spread in the pan and avoid a hot spot in the middle and somewhat lower temperature, which is nice when I'm frying. There is also the options to use ordinary barbecue coals, S-bits or wood pellets, but I haven't tried any of them, so I have no opinion on how good they are in the Bushbox. But if you've tried any of them, please share your experiences. I guess it's time to dive in for some stats. I will do them in metrics, and if you're more familiar with inches, you'll find that in the description below. When folded, the Bushbox is 14 centimeters by 10 by 1.2 centimeters, and when in operational mode, it's 14 by 10 by 10 centimeters. And it's made of 1 millimeter thick stainless steel and weighs in at 470 grams. There's also a titanium version at 270 grams, but it will cost you double, as is most often the case with titanium, and for me it just wasn't worth 15 bucks to save 200 grams. I find the Bushbox friendly when it comes to assembly. When I did my research, most other Hobo stoves had to be puzzled together, whereas the Bushbox is unfolded rather than assembled. The Bushbox comes with a pair of trivets that mainly is used for putting your pots on to create a gap that allows the good air circulation at the top. You can also buy extra trivets and use them to hang your spirit burner on when frying, but I use a pair of old 10 pegs for that purpose, and then that works famously. But one accessory I did buy was a grate, and it provides a good shelf for a spirit burner, or you can use it as a grill grate for meat or fish. So, when would you consider a Hobo stove? Well, for me a campfire is the first and decisive choice. It has so many advantages, and it's almost a symbol for outdoor and bushcrafting. But as we all know, the campfire isn't always an option for any number of reasons. So I wanted a plan B, and the Bushbox large foldable is an excellent plan B for me. With the Bushbox I can cook on places where I normally couldn't make a fire. And when it's folded up, it's smartly larger than my smartphone. So if I for any odd reasons wouldn't have the space in my pack, I can always put it in the pocket. When it comes to weight, 470 grams, almost a half kilo, it can't be considered as lightweight for a Hobo stove in any way. You can find lots of alternatives if you're going for ultralight. But 1mm stainless steel makes it more or less bomb-proof, and I haven't seen the slightest tendency that it should warp you to temperature. And you could probably step on it without breaking it, though I will not recommend it, and I will certainly not try it myself. It works with multiple sources of fuel, so it's versatile, and it combines with the gear I had before and things I bought later. I most often use it in combination with the parts from my Trangia storm cooker or my Pathfinder nesting cup, and it works without any hassles. So, if you're after a bomb-proof, easy to set up alternative to a campfire, and you aren't chasing grams to go ultralight, this is definitely worth checking out. And I guess the burning question must be, is the Bushbox the best Hobo stove? Well, I only tried the Bushbox large foldable, so I had no idea if it's the best, but it is certainly good enough for me. All this talking about outdoor cooking has stirred up my appetite, so let's get to it. Some wood prep, some food prep, some food. Yes, I guess it's lunchtime. Today I'm trying out this Real Turmat, and today it's pulled pork with rice. As some of you have seen, we're doing a series on the trail where we're following Bohusleden, and we're gonna have some overnighters, and it would be nice to have something that's a bit lighter in the pack. So I'm trying this dehydrated for size before we go out and see what tastes good and what not. So now it's time for pulled pork with rice, and the smell is very promising, I can tell you. Yes. This one will definitely accompany us on some of the trails. I can tell you that much. A touch more garlic, perhaps, but that's my preference. Well, for all of you that's thinking about whether to get a Bushbox or not, I hope this video proved somewhat useful to you. in making your mind up. And if you found it useful, please press like. It helps me and my channel out very much. If others have questions about the Bushbox, you can always share it. And if you like what I'm doing and want to see more of it, press the subscribe button. And if you hit the bell as well, you will get notifications when I post something new. It's quite irregular, but it will come. And for all of you that are able to, get up, get out, and take a hike. Stay safe.